First of all, trade GU 1 minute. Let's price this up. Hustle harder. Got what you need. Coke that white that powder. That was a 78.6. See where this one goes. 53. 6 above. 8. 4.7 pips. Spread. 3 tick spread at the minute. Leaves us 5 pips. GU 1%, 5 pips. I need 40 lots. If this comes in. Let me announce this live quick. Okay, let's post a link. Okay, that lower low's broke. So this one's not valid anymore. But we'll see. See if it comes back before hitting that Asian low. Morning. How we doing, Rio? You good? I've just about to send the message out now, but we've got to set up quite early here, so Asian range was trending, but then GU sweeped, change your character beneath, what usually happens when when you have a change of character that sweeps the Asian top, is you aim for the Asian low. So seeing if we could catch a trade there on the way down. We'll see. See if this gives us another chance. Same logic, you want to wait for some form of candlestick rejection from this zone with the new wave. It looks like price hasn't actually came all the way up to the EMA, so we're not actually expecting this to coincide, but it will be acting as resistance if it does regardless. Just been stopped out of an EU sell at BE. Oh, at least it was BE. Yeah, with EU, what I want to wait for to see is this low break. I want to see that low break and then try catch this to the downside. Is that the EU short? I'm assuming that's the EU short you sent in from last week. Yeah, so you would have got in within this wick, waiting for it to short. What I'm waiting for EU shorts is again this low to break. So once this low breaks, then we should be looking for, because right now if you just take the actual structure, you're making low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Like this is still bearish wave structure. So until this low breaks like this, you're not actually bearish yet. So in terms of like a 1 hour setup, I want to wait for that. From a day trading perspective, that is. And then intraday, yeah, we can play these intraday ideas where you just trade in London session. Usually that's, if we've seen GU do this already, take the Asian high side liquidity and then take the low, that could be what we're expecting to happen here. So far this is the most recent low before the high was printed. It looks like we're forming a triple top, which is a good sign of resistance. Maybe the idea for today is to wait for this to break and then trade this lower, at least down to this Asian session low there. So looking like a decent day. We've already got some ideas of what's going to happen in the market. The Asian low has been taken here, so I'm not going to look to sell that into the Asian low, to be honest. That trade there was just trading off the liquidity sweep, clearing out the Asian session liquidity, which we could see here too. So we just wait for that change of character before just blindly gambling on it. See what happens with this one as well. This is why it's important to understand the Asian session when you trade in London, because if I didn't know the mechanism of the Asian session range getting swept, and I've seen that on GU, I might be fooled into thinking that, you know, EU is long for the day and be looking to take longs here like this. But we know this, like if you were to do that here as well, just purely trading a buy because price is in an uptrend, then you'll fall short for when that trend ends. So we're not looking for longs here, we're waiting for this to reverse on to trade it for London anyway. You got this triple top, So it kind of confirms that idea really. If you can hear banging, by the way, there's the apartment next door is getting done up. Sounds like fucking gunshots. But I don't know if you can hear that. That's the link sent out everywhere. Monday morning. No lower lows being made. On this, you mean on the 5 minute or on the 1 hour? It's triple top, yeah. This triple top forming on the 1 hour as well. If we're looking at this as a retracement, yeah, it's took the 71. But yeah, this isn't like, I can't really take sells on that yet. I'm already in sells, so I'm a little bit biased because I'm not really in a rush. I'm already in sells. I took my TP1 like here. I'm looking for, so I said I was waiting rather than reselling and stacking. I was waiting for a correction and then wait for that correction to break. But the correction's broke. This is your substructure that's formed after that break of correction. For me, some people will just blindly sell like the break of correction, but look how wide your stop would have to be to fully cover that. And then what, you're going to take that to the recent low, maybe like a TP2, TP3. You're only getting a 2.7 versus, and it's not really too high conviction. Like that could just be liquidity getting swept from that trend line liquidity to go higher. So for me, I need to wait for that break of substructure. So you'll see I always have the break of structure, wait for a substructure, and then the break of substructure, that's when I'll look for stacking. That's when I'll look to stack trades like this. So with this on EU, I need to see this level get broken first. I guess we shift this along as it's just channeling. But yeah, I need to see this level break to really stack more trades on EU. And I do think it'll come. I don't think that we'll take out this top side. I think it will keep going down. It's just about being patient, not trying to force it. Because right now, yeah, this is just trading sideways. What you might even have is something like a sweep of that high to take out this liquidity and take out the liquidity of this trend line, and then a push lower. If the market makers want to be cunts, which they are quite often, so you have to be prepared for that. But as soon as this low gets broken, then we're back to lower low, lower high structure, and we can start looking for trades to stack. My GU position, as we did last week, I'm not really too confident on this one, but I don't care. It's a valid setup, so I'm taking it regardless. We did hedge and take a short on the intraday last week to protect against this drawdown, and we closed out a 2.3 R trade on this. So even if this hits my stop, I've made money from that overall positioning because I had one long and one short. This one's closed out for 2.3. This one will close for -1. If it loses, I've still made money. So I'm not really too bothered about what happens here. If it does print lower, then guess what? We just get more trades because this will then basically act as the correction which broke out. This becomes your substructure like we had here. And then we are trading GU lower. So all it does is provide another setup if that does happen. Then if it goes higher, guess what? We're in longs and we're making money. But yeah, GU's looking a little complicated at the moment. What I'm waiting on with GU in order to stack longs is we have this. So this is a 1 hour correction. Okay, 1 hour 15-minute time frame. You can see it's correcting from the bullish direction. So if this is bullish, this is your correction lower. We had a breakout of that correction. Price retested. I took the fib from this swing low to this swing high. as you would have saw it there, but I just deleted it. And then we caught an entry from around, well, it originally was around the 78.6. We briefly missed that here, took off without us, so then we looked to take the fib from this low instead, protect against that low being broken, took it from the 71 instead. Not really too invested in the direction on GU, could go long, could go short, to be honest. This isn't me saying GU is going long. This position was, and then we hedged against it, made money regardless of the direction. But following wave structure, we're making higher highs and higher lows. We're forming corrections as substructures and then breaking them out. This again is another correction. So this would be the break of substructure. Higher. Let me make that purple to point out that these blue reference lines are in reference to like the 4 hour and 1 hour time frame. These purple reference lines are in reference to like the 15 minute and the 1 hour time frame. So I know it might be a bit confusing, but I'm doing day trading and swing trading on the same chart because it goes hand in hand. So correction, broke out. Now we've swept the liquidity of this low, formed a correction, and then we broke out of that trend line, but I don't really go off trend lines. I'm waiting for the actual change of character from the previous high, basically. So I'm not just trading because it's broke out of a trend line. Trend lines just kind of help you see corrections and waves. But what you actually want to wait for is this previous high to break higher, which it failed to do. It tapped on that previous high and then melted off. So if something like this happens where we do actually break that and leaves us some form of area of imbalance again, I would actually look to stack another trade on GU for going long, if that is the case. So that's something to bear in mind, because again, we are making, even though it feels like GU is bearish, you can't forget how bearish this was and how much inefficiency has been left behind in that price. We're at the bottom of a trend line, which has acted as support. We've taken out this liquidity from this big swing low here. That's been taken out. So those ideas in combination with wave structure, making higher highs and higher lows, if we do keep breaking character to the upside, I would stack this position. So that's something to bear in mind. Don't know if it's my internet, but the vid is lagging and your audio isn't. Let me check that. It might be because I'm doing a lot on the screen, to be fair. If I'm doing a lot on the screen, it might be a bit too much for it to stream. Is it still frozen? I wasn't really doing much there, I was just talking. But while I was explaining shit, yeah, I was moving the graph around a lot. Let me rewind that live and see. Yeah, let me know if the video is working or not. Because yeah, I don't want to do a bunch of fucking analysis and it doesn't even show. EU still not broke that low, so just waiting at the moment, going over other analysis. A lot of people asking about the Trump coin as well. That's an interesting one. Yeah, mate, still frozen on the same thing. Let me see what I can do. Cheers for letting me know. Try leaving the stream and coming back, because when I've got my YouTube stream up, I can see what I'm looking at. So if you leave and come back, let me know if that's refreshed. If you're still having it, then I'll try like refresh the stream or something. It's working now. Sweet. Cool. Yeah, so main idea right now is that the Asian session range is going to take out its high, change character, and take out the Asian low. We've already had this happen on GU this morning. Asian high got taken out, swept, took the Asian low. So we're waiting for if that's going to happen on EU. That's the main idea. Let me get the news up to see timings of shit. No high impact news today. Oh, that's going to be boring. Nothing much is going to happen today. Tomorrow we've got CAD CPI, New Zealand CPI. Wednesday nothing. Thursday we've got CAD retail sales, US unemployment. Friday Bank of Japan policy, monetary, a lot of Bank of Japan stuff on Friday. Nothing really crazy in the news this week in terms of Forex Factory, but we've got the Trump inauguration, which is in how many hours, which might affect a lot more stuff compared to news. Within 10 hours approximately. Okay, so it's after London, but it'll be in New York session today. Right, well, since there's nothing happening on these, what I'll do is I'll go over my day/swing setups, okay? Oh, don't want that separate. So we've already seen what I'm looking at on GU. That level can go to make it clearer. This is your liquidity resting beneath that triple bottom. If you are looking at this as a correction, which is valid, you could look at this as a correction. The only reason I wasn't looking at this as a correction is because it's at the bottom of this daily trend line. It's swept that liquidity, it's broke out of this correction higher. So personally, I would be looking at this as the start of the impulse wave, the 1 to 5 waves, where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. However, it would be valid if GU was going to print lower, for it to just be an ABC correction, and then you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves lower. Might not look like that. The 5 waves might be 1, 2, and then the third wave's lower, and then it keeps going lower as well. So either of those is valid. We hedged against this position, so we actually made money from the drawdown that we were in. So very smart trade in there, if I'm able to pat myself on the back. But obviously, if we're preparing for this as a correction, you would see, let me try clean this up a little bit so it looks a bit neater. Stop that line there. This was your correction. This broke beneath. I would say this is also not just liquidity, but it's also the first substructure beneath that breakout. The reason this is your substructure and not this is because this actually brought price back into the trend, whereas this didn't. And also, if you take the low from Wix rather than just this low, it's actually still a bounce from that. So we can draw the trend line here to sort of make that clearer. But this one's broke. And then this is either liquidity support or a substructure to the downside. So we will bear that in mind. if price wants to go lower, or if price breaks and wants to go higher. So you just got to let the market tell you what it's doing. You don't want to guess here. Does EU always follow GU? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They are 95% correlated. So anything that happens on EU is likely to happen to GU and vice versa. So it is a pretty sound principle to assume if something happens on one of them, then it's gonna very likely happen to the other one. Let me show you this in a much more clear way. So if I add GU to this chart so that we're looking at them on the same chart, you can see the correlation there. Okay, this is EU and GU plotted on the same graph. So hopefully that answers your question a bit more factually rather than just my opinion. You can see the moves on EU and GU do correlate real heavily. There's instances like this, look, where EU was making highs, but GU actually made lows. So it's not like a one-to-one price match where if this happens on EU, it has to happen to GU, but you can use the movements to sort of act as confluence to say, this has happened on GU right now, it's very likely that it also happens on EU as well, because of how they correlate. So you can see the highs sort of match up with the highs, the lows sort of match up with the lows. Not always though. So here is another example where EU printed this high, but GU was still printing lower. Okay, so don't take it as like a science. It's not, it's a probability. And that's just everything in trading. So let me take that off. There you go. Hopefully that explains that quite clearly. How you do that, by the way, is there's this plus button here where you can add other symbols to your chart. If you want to know about the correlations, go to MyFXBook. MyFXBook. Come on, log in. Here we are. So if you go, where is it? Correlation. There you go. myfxbook.com/forex market correlation, as you can see there. And then when you're on here, you can go to correlation there. That's what I've just clicked. And then you can create a matrix or a table with the currencies along the top, currencies down the side. Choose which ones you want. So if we look at the majors, AU, GU, UCAD, USWIS, NU, Euro USD, and then we'll look at GU and EU. Where's EU? There, but I'll put some others on as well. UCAD, USWIS, NU. Let's leave it that for now. Then you can see a table of how much this one and this one are correlated. So you can see GU and EU about 93% correlated. So if something happens on, like a way you can think of this is if something happens on GU, there's a 93% chance that that move also happens on EU. Obviously there's still 7% chance that it doesn't, which you kind of saw in that overlay of the two of them. And then inversely, so AUD USD and USD CAD, if something happens to one of them, it's 96% likely that it happens in the opposite direction to the other one. Bless me. So that's how inverses work. This doesn't mean that like there's no correlation. The magnitude of the number is what matters. So minus 96 means they're actually highly correlated, but in the inverse direction. It's when you have a currency pair that has like 0% so in the middle, that they're not correlated at all. So whether it's a high number or like as closer to 100 means that they're correlated basically, and then the plus or minus tells you which direction. So just kind of waiting on this so far. GU is taking that Asian low and it hasn't like bounced, so it's probably looking for other liquidity lower. So we've got this session range at the bottom, which was the triple top that we triple bottom, sorry, that we mentioned on day trading. We've also got this low serving as liquidity, and we've got this session range down here as well. So if GU is looking to go lower, those are the levels that you'd probably look to target. Quite an impulsive leg down with not really too much wave structure, or at least respecting any solid fib levels. It's been hitting like the 38%, which is what you expect from impulsive moves. But yeah, anyway, let's go and analyze some other pairs while we're here. We can have a look at crypto, see what's happening in crypto. That Bitcoin all-time highs? I think it is. Bosh, Bitcoin all-time high hit today. Definitely fueled by Trump. See a huge, or as Trump would say, a huge displacement candle engulfing that previous double top. That's bullish. Don't really look at crypto from a trading perspective that much anymore. I just don't feel that the need to trade crypto like this, because you have such sound systems running on currencies. I don't really need them. Like back when we were, it was over here when I was crypto trading. I'll show you my crypto setup when I had my like first big Bitcoin play. So we had these highs. I think it was these highs here. Was it? No, it wouldn't have been 2019. It would have been, I think it was this. Yeah, so I was looking at 1 touch, 2 touch, 3rd touch. Price broke out of that. Now, me being me, I was a few years into my trading career, not got the same strategy that I use now, but I was looking at the fib of this breakout. You can see it literally respected that 71 level. Catch a buy from that. Had my low. This was like margin trading crypto. This is like, I would not do this anymore. And then I just held that position, and I think I cashed out. Yeah, I cashed out after these head and shoulders printed. So I saw this change of character, right shoulder print, and I think I cashed out like somewhere in this right shoulder, because as a trader I recognized that we're no longer making higher highs and higher lows. We printed the first lower low, and that's when I got out of there. So would have been around a 36R trade, anywhere from a 34R trade to a 44R trade. That's what I caught on Bitcoin on margin when I was still at uni. So like back then, you could make some real fucking big moves on Bitcoin. I made a similar one on BNB, on Binance Coin as well. That was a 1 to 30. I think I put that one on my Instagram as well. But now, on all the like top market cap coins, you can't really do that. I mean, to be fair, you probably could have December 2022, to be fair, if you would have caught a move, say you were playing that breakout. take that from, could have took it from that low up there. Price respect of the 61.8. Let's say you took a long on that 61.8, stops beneath the lows, and you still you could probably still be holding that shit now. Yeah, you have got room from that. That would have been a huge play, up 25R. But even still, like you consider that a huge run. But the run that I had in 2020 to 2021 was still like double the return of what you'd get for this. And I just don't margin trade crypto anymore. Like it's super, takes a lot of margin. Basically is gambling compared to, just based on the volatility of crypto compared to FX. FX, you have sound systems that play out every day. Crypto kind of relies a bit more on fundamentals and what's happening in the world. But obviously if you have shit like an inauguration, fundamentals that you can speculate on with some certainty, then yeah. So like, yeah, I put money in the Trump coin. I've got money in Solana. Solana will be a big one because all of these meme coins are based on Solana. So much money is flowing into Solana at the moment. It kind of has to do them well. It's took out the 250. That's where I took profits. So I took profits on 250 from one of my I can't remember where I got in that. I'd have to look up, but somewhere along this run, I got in on Solana, and then my TP was 250. It was somewhere within like this zone. Can't remember where. Took a buy on Solana, took out 250. That was a bit more like a sensible investment. Wasn't aiming for the moon. Was aiming for a previous high, and it hit. I think I made like 50% on that, so nothing like too crazy from a spot buy. But yeah, don't ask me about like, oh, what altcoin should I trade and shit like that, because I don't really look at stuff like that. But this Trump one, I just know it's going to do well. XRP is another big one. I took XRP up to its previous, like this high. It has proved me wrong a little bit and massively surpassed that. I kind of hate Ethereum. Like the gas fees on Ethereum are just unnecessarily high. Like it puts you off. Like I never send anything in Ethereum. Well, that's a lie. I fucking do, but I hate it when people ask me for a fucking ERC20. I'm paying like an extra $10 for no reason, when you could just send me a fucking Tron address or Solana, and I'm paying like $1 max. So yeah, Ethereum. I feel like it got a lot of its value from NFTs, and who the fuck does NFTs anymore? So I don't really rate Ethereum. It's still massively tied with crypto in terms of if you want to send someone USDT, a lot of people that aren't big in crypto, they will only have like an ERC20 USDT wallet. So a lot of people are just forced to use Ethereum for transactions because they haven't got a fucking clue how to use cheaper networks. But hopefully cunts will realise that you don't need to pay fucking ridiculous gas fees to send money. Like sending money is basically free if you know how to do it. So hopefully people clock on. But yeah, rant over. Anyway, let's get back to Forex. New Zealand dollar. Do you trade indices? Nah, I don't trade indices. I've got an algo that trades indices, US 30, but I don't actually touch it myself for manual trading. Manual trading, I prefer to stick to low spread pairs like these so that I maximise my profits. And they're also highly liquid, highly stable in terms of being reliable. So I just focus on the ones that I do well at. I don't trade any yen pairs. Everyone asks about yen pairs quite a lot. I don't touch a yen. Just doesn't respect wave structure as much as other pairs do. New Zealand dollar. So we are in this daily trading range still. Had this correction that broke to the downside. Price after breaking this will seek these lows, which we haven't yet taken out. On the 4 hour, we were still bound by this trend line. If you were to be more lenient with it, you could say it's there, and then you could say that we're still in that trend line, just reacting from the highs. So we'll give it the benefit of the doubt and say that's what's happening, rather than being too trigger happy on a breakout. Yeah, EU still forming. Back to NU. So we had higher high, higher low, higher high. This was our higher low. This was our higher high. Now that price is breaking beneath this, we have a change of character. So now we're forming a lower low, because this low is a lower price than this low. So this could suggest trades to the downside. For me, that's not enough information to just blindly take a short, but it is respecting bearish structure. That would be supported on the idea of this daily trend line that I just showed you, where it's reacting from this, looking to go lower. So how do we trade this then? How do we trade NU in this direction? So for me, I would be looking at where was the correction. So you could say this is your corrective structure. You know, that's a pretty sound accumulation of lows. I would then say that this is your break of structure. If you have a break of structure, we would then look for the substructure that follows beneath this. So we know we've got the change of character there, so I can kind of get rid of that. I would say then that this is your substructure beneath this low that's formed. Break of substructure. This is in a real tricky area. What you would usually do is say this is broke the break of substructure and look to take a short based on the retracement up from that. So you would have caught a short following this strategy, like from this wick here, have your stops above that previous high. So maybe you would have caught it there, stops above the previous high, and be looking to short this lower. Put my TP3 on. Look to trade this down here. Could even just trade it to that liquidity down there that we spotted, but let's just say you take a TP3 and then you'd have a 4R. Do I like that setup? Not really. I don't really like that setup. Reason being, it came way too soon before this change of character. That hasn't been that strong of a change of character. Like each time it's came down, within the next hour, price is already back inside. So you can kind of see that as just a wick of that structure. So we're not in this. That's just the logic of wave structure and fib levels. Break structure. So instead, we can be a bit more conservative, not jump the gun too soon, and say this is the next corrective structure that we're looking at. So if we look at the 15-minute, you can see this is your ABC correction. If price is going to go lower anyway, based on that trade, we wait to catch another setup within here. Okay, so I do actually like the idea of NU going lower. It's just finding the right entry for it, because right here, you know, we're teetering on this resistance that could quite easily wipe out some of this liquidity higher to come lower. in terms of a false breakout. Kind of want this to be back inside the trading range to trade it. But it is giving a setup, to be honest. We've got the change of character. We've had a couple corrections. I would say this is the break of substructure that we're waiting on. What I'll do is I'll set a alert to alert me when price crosses and closes beneath that trend line, and we'll watch NU for a potential day trade to the downside, and I'll say that's valid up to that liquidity that we spotted. So that's my trading range. Take a look at AU. AU was in the similar boat. Wiped out that liquidity there. Upper trading range on the 4 hour. We were either waiting on a breakout above substructure, breakout of that substructure, retrace, takes trade higher. We can kind of move all that along. It's still being valid. Or this would be our substructure beneath this low being broken. Get rid of that. See if we have any localized corrections to the downside, so get rid of that. You could look for some shorts to this level as your trading range. So that's what I'll have a look for now. This was a correction. A, B, C. So this was your ABC wave. Broke beneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You might expect. If this was the correction, that was your break of structure. If that was the break of structure, these lows were the substructure. If that was the break of substructure, your optimal setup for that would have been the retracement up to these highs. So somewhere between there, you could have expected price to wipe out this high or this high, refill that FVG there. Let's say worst case, you take an entry off the 71, stops a couple pips above that high, trade price lower, maybe just to the trading range, not TP3, have a 3.7. Again, I'm not in this, I wasn't looking at this at the time because of how fragile price was, but this would be your idea. What we can say on the 15 minute, just get rid of that completely. No, I'll keep it on. What we can say on the 15 minute is This is a new correction. The prices broke out of. Related to the 15 by making it purple. And then we kind of want this low to break to give us a change of character before we start looking for shorts, because this idea is still well on the cards based off of price taking that liquidity there. So we do want to wait for confirmations of the short move before we just start blindly taking shorts on that based on the top-down analysis. And then yeah, if we do take that to the downside, the move could look like, just very simply, that low being broke, retrace to some form of area of inefficiency within that and trade it lower. And I'd take that as a sell. So that's sort of my weekly outlook on EU, GU, NU and AU. Again, what I'll do is I will set an alert for price to close beneath that, and then we'll just have that as an idea in the back burner. Let's look at USwiss. I haven't traded USwiss in a while. USwiss is bound in this sort of sideways daily channel. It's reaching the resistance of that. Something to be careful of. It's been bullish for a while. Very bullish. Broke beneath this 4-hour channel. If you wanted to, you could call that the correction, and then if that breaks, maybe start looking for, if that breaks, maybe start looking for shorts back to that trend line as a bare minimum. Not really that bothered about that, to be honest. It's just, yeah, it's just trending. We'll keep an eye on it anyway, because the wave structure is there. I mean, it's making high highs, high lows. All of a sudden we've broke this channel, and now we're using it as resistance. See them wicks, see them wicks. So could call this a substructure, and then if that breaks, it would become a break of substructure, giving you a bearish bias to start trading down to this trendline support, which would act as your trading range. So you'd be looking for shorts now after that, all the way down to this trend line. Price would then react with this trend line in a way which would either tell you price is likely to go higher from that, break this maybe, or go lower from that and trade back down to that daily support. Either way, it's way too soon to be able to tell what that's going to do, so all we can do is trade this move if this substructure breaks. And what you'd also want to see is this low give way to really confirm the lower low scenario. So yeah, for now we'll again put an alert on that and just leave it be. But I'd say that could give us a setup, to be honest. Not much action today on London session. A Monday with no news, so it's going to be a slow one. See what else we can look at. put my alert on that too. Let's have a quick break and then I'll come back in about 10 minutes. Interestingly then, looks like this might push higher on EU. GU has swept the lows. Change your character higher. See what happens with GU. Is this going to be a fourth top? Or are we actually going to break out higher? And then push back down using that EMA as support again. To take this high. That was the previous session's London and New York high. So, see what happens. And EU. To be honest, this higher scenario would be a lot better. A lot easier for us to trade. So hopefully that's the one. Yeah, mate, interesting to see what happens with the dollar come inauguration. In terms of EU right now, we do have really good dynamics with this EMA. You can see it was used as resistance. Now it's being used as support. If we're breaking higher than this and making higher highs, I'm really interested to take that higher low to the upside. So Doge is another one that I got in on back when I was at uni for like, pretty sure it was like down here. Like I got in at like fractions, like as soon as it got released. Well, not as soon as it got released, but I don't know if it was after this little spike. I got in for like 0.04. Yeah, so around here I got in on Doge. Probably on this pump, like there. On a spot buy, I didn't really margin trade it, but I mean, if it broke those lows, I probably would have closed. Doge took me all the way up here, held through that. No, was that the one I held through? I can't even remember, to be honest. But I got in on Doge super fucking early. I was into crypto back then. Like scouring Twitter and shit. Might have even been in one of these pumps that I got in. Maybe that one. But I know it was about 0.04 that I got in Doge. And then that shit took off. Obviously we had this little symmetrical triangle, bullish pennant, that you would see is like a neutral pattern. So you're not really seeing that and seeing reversal, you're seeing just consolidation for price to go higher. Can't remember where I sold off. I think it was like 20 cents I sold off, but I could have held way more than that. I think I sold off in this pump up. Like after this pump, I was like, right, I've done an insane multiplier. Yeah, like 143 R on Doge. Like it was fucking crazy. It wasn't a margin trade. It was a spot buy, so it was from like 0.04 to like 20. So like you can do the maths on that. It was like a crazy return. I didn't put a huge amount on. Like I was a fucking broke uni student. But fucking that changed things a little bit. And then yeah, after this wave, just fucking crypto winter. But now people are mentioning Doge again because of Elon in power and Trump. Maybe it goes back to that 75. I remember like the dream was like Doge to $1, and I just knew like that ain't fucking happening anytime soon. You know, I've got in at like 0.04, like less than 1 cent. and I was happy to just make that multiplier that I did. But yeah, I wonder if Doge will have any use or any return. Like for me now, like it's just not worth, like all of these altcoins. Like if you're trading them to sensible levels and you've got reason to speculate on them, then yeah, give it a gamble. But if you want to make like actual consistent returns, just fucking trade forex. Like it's there every day for you. Whereas stuff like crypto, it's a bit more like higher risk of a gamble. But if you want to have fun, go have fun. You know. Let me add. See if the Trump coin's on here. They do Trump USDC, don't they? Is that going to be a good graph? Trump USDC. Nah, it's not a good graph. Let's just have a look at it, USDT. Interesting to see where this goes. But yeah, not really that invested in it. Okay, so this high is now breaking out. What I want to see is a close above this level. Yeah, bang, there we go, we got it. So if this would have wicked and then came back down within the same candle, it's not really as strong at higher high. But now that we have this higher high, which is closed and is strong, it's telling us that price wants to push higher. So we can eliminate this scenario for now because we're making higher highs. What I want to look for is price to retrace, catch it from an area of inefficiency, take it to the upside for a at least like a 1 to 3.5. So we'll see where the high ends up, and then we'll look to take this to the upside. Okay, so price is printing a couple of red candles. We'll see see if this is the high that we're looking at. What I would do here is take TP1, TP2, and then I'd have a TP3 on this previous high there. Still got plenty of time within London. No rush at the minute. So yeah, I'll be looking for this if we have the necessary confirmations before. This would be 5 pip stop and a 1 to 4. Can you hear me now, Rio? My mic's on. I did mute it for a sec while I was typing. So what I'm doing here is just seeing how the 100 EMA looks. So 100 EMA price reacted with both the 50 and the 100 there. Prices sort of reacted with the 50 there, but did come beneath it. So we can look to trade within this like envelope of price where we would align with. So that's something to bear in mind. We might break through the 50 a little bit, but that's fine because we've got the 100, which would be support as well. So what we're waiting for here as price comes down is we want to see a rejection candlestick from this 61.8 level, from this EMA, and ultimately from our zone. We have a rejection candle here, but it didn't really reject the 61, so we're just waiting for that to happen a bit lower down to give us an entry. Price action's good though. We're back making higher highs, so we're just waiting on this to print a higher low. We've got that 100 EMA underneath this to support, which this reacted from a bit more cleanly. Well, it didn't react from, but it was more strong. Obviously it's more strong because it's 100, not a 50, but yeah, we have this zone in between the 50 and the 100 sort of acting as support there. So even if it comes beneath that 50 EMA, we're all good. So I'll probably leave those two lines on to see how price reacts. But we want a deeper pullback than this. We don't want it to just bounce off the 50, otherwise we don't have a high risk to reward. We want this to come back to the 71 or we don't have a trade. Okay, so what we're looking at here is price only retrace back down to around the 50% level. So you can see the 50% is where price retraced, and is now going to form a higher high. So it didn't pull back far enough for us to get an entry. The reason we don't enter off of something like that is because that's where your entry would be. If you want to actually trade wave structure with high conviction, you'd need your stop below this level, and then your TP at most would be up here. So that's only giving you like a 1.9. You could trade with lower conviction and have your stops beneath like the 78.6. That would give you a 3.3, but you're always going to be susceptible with that to price actually hitting that level, or even deeper to fill in order blocks and such. So I don't trade that. I wait for them. Sometimes I will take the 61.8s if the market tells me that it's doing that, and I'll have my stop below there for that. And then for those, they are a lot riskier of a trade, but you're taking like a 5 to 6R in return. So again, risk to reward. But yeah, I mainly look for that 71 or the 78.6, and then with those, you've got a well protected stop beneath the previous low, and you're still hitting like almost 4 Rs. And then if you've got a 78.6, you're hitting like 5 to 6 as well. So what's happening here? Price is making a higher high, which is good for our bullish bias. We just need to rinse and repeat basically and wait for it to print a higher high, high low, and take the trade from this one instead. So we're still in London session. There's nothing too crazy going on. So we'll see if we can catch that, unless price goes all the way up to this trading range before we can get an entry. Then we might just leave it. So for now, yeah, we just wait for this to print. Look at GU. GU's, yeah, just moving higher. Prefer this setup. Right, okay, so we printed a higher high. We could say we've got a trade coming up. Quite an aggressive one. That's kind of like a half wave. Could take that on a 78.6. Take that on a 3 pip stop. TP3 up there. You really want to see some rejection from that. Price has been very bullish though, so it's not like we don't have these sort of half waves. And we've only just got out of that corrective phase, so let's look here for a trade. Just need to be patient to wait for a confirmation first. We don't just take those blindly off of limits when we're intraday trading. TP1, TP2, TP3. We've got a 5-minute fair value gap here. Price will probably look to mitigate that. The 78.6 might be a little deep. Could look for the 71. Wouldn't take it any lower than that off the 61.8 to be honest. So that's a 3.8, 4 pip stop. Let's measure that on our FX calculator. Profit up there. So 3.9 pip stop. We're looking at GU, are we? No, EU. We're looking at EU right now. Okay, so let's switch over to EU. Looking at longs. Spread is just 1 pip or 2 ticks, sorry. So let's price this. EU 200k, 1% risk. Couple ticks, 4.1 pip stop. Need 48.78 lots on this if we take it. EU pending buy limit. 3 TP, so go 50%, 25, 25, 48.78. $24.39 lots. I'm not placing this by the way, I'm just having it ready. Add our spreads onto that. Stop. So this would be the first order that we look for if we want to trade it. Looking on the 5-minute. Again, same logic, I need price to come down to that 61.8 level, show some candlestick rejections, and then we'll look to take a long. So for now, we'll just wait patiently for that rejection sign. if we look on a 15-minute time frame, what we're trading is this going higher, and we're looking at it to take out this high there, to just swipe that liquidity, which agrees with the idea that we said earlier in terms of we need this low to break before we have a bearish bias. In the meantime, price could well go and swipe out liquidity from these two previous highs before going lower. So TDA satisfied, intraday satisfied. Just need to wait on the necessary rejections from the zone. Daily whip in Thailand. Yeah, I've got a 155 motorbike. Don't actually have the license for it apparently, because it's classed as a motorbike, not a ped. So to get an actual motorbike license with your international driver's license, you need to have been driving over 2 years and be older than 24. I'm 25, but I've only had my UK license 18 months. So somehow not allowed to fucking drive a motorbike over here. It's fucking stupid. Could drive a car, but I can't drive a motorbike. But basically what happens is, as long as you don't get caught by police and traffic police, you're fine. And then even if you do, they just pull you over and make you pay like a fucking £20 fine, and then you get a license for it for the next 3 days. So in theory, worst case scenario is you just pay like £20 every 3 days. But realistically, if you just know where the police are and aren't, then you're fine. Obviously, I'll fucking smoke them anyway, even if they do pull me over. I stay clear of it. But yeah, I didn't realise that when I got the bike. I've just been on. I had a 155 for like a month before this, and like no one ever said a thing to me. So I just thought, yeah, calm. I'll get another 155 that is just bigger and looks better, that costs a bit more money. And then yeah, some fucking traffic police guy pulled me over and was like, made me pull my international license out, pulled that out, and he just pointed to the empty box where it says motorbike. So there's two types of motorbike, isn't there? There's like small motorbike, big motorbike, or like moped and motorbike. And basically, if you've got the one stamp, you're allowed to drive mopeds, so like 125s. And then if you've got the motorbike license, then you can drive anything higher. But I didn't realise that you had to have had a 2-year UK driver's license and be above 24 at the time you get the license. So yeah, apparently I don't actually have the right license for it. It's too big, which is fucking shit, 'cause it's not even a big bike. Like, it's just a fucking 155. Just cracking a soda water, lads. I'm not an alcoholic. It's just water, I promise. So price looks like it's coming down to our level. What we want to wait for is those rejections. We've got an FVG. We're looking on the 5 minute because we're pricing it up on the 5 minute, but we could look on the lower time frames. I want to see 5 minutes worth of rejection before I go long on this. So that could be 1 5-minute candle, it could be 5 1-minute candles, could be 3 2-minute candles. We'll see. And then the level that I enter from is going to be based on where those rejections wicked. So it does look like price, does look to me like price is delivering back into that fair value gap. The fact that we created the fair value gap shows that price is bullish and it wants to seek out that previous high, which gives us our ultimate price target. We just need to get a nice entry from it correctly. So I'll remove that so we can see a bit more. Got a 3.9 pip stop, targeting about 15 pips. So we're looking at a 3.8 risk to reward. Oh, didn't mean to open that. Where the fuck is that even opening to? This could be the move. So again, this is a rejection candlestick in the form of a hammer candle. See, it looks like a hammer, but it's not from the 61.8, so it's not in the right place at the right time. Again, another setup you could take from this is if you had an entry at the 61.8 with your stop a couple ticks below that, but that's just way too tight. It's just way too tight here, so that's not what I'm looking for. Looking for an entry after 71, stops below the low. Can actually tighten that up by a tick. .8 pips. EU couple ticks. Need 50 lots. So this would actually be, have I changed that? 58. That's just by one. Couple ticks. That can be 25 lots now. Cool. Now we wait. 50 lots on EU. See if we can fucking open that, because I've got quite a few open positions, but it's only like what 1, 2, 4, call it 5 to 6 lots open. So we'll see. Okay, so time's getting on. I've only actually got 13 minutes left in my trading range. This FVG's not actually been filled yet. Price is rejecting off of the 50%, I would assume. Yeah. Price is rejecting that 50%. Maybe we could take that trade off of the 61.8. We'll have to see. This would give us a 2.7 right now. Maybe we could just add some pips onto the 78.6 and see how sensible of a stop loss that gives us. So this right now is like, let me get that exact. So that would be the 78.6 right now. That would be our entry. So this is like 2.1 pips. If we add 3 pips, takes us below there. If we take 2 pips, takes us to there and gives us a 3.3. If we add 1.5 pips, brings us to there, which is a 3.8. This is a setup that we could look to take instead if price isn't retracing. We've got some pretty strong rejection there. So there's a 5-minute hammer, 5-minute hammer, 5-minute hammer. So we've got 15 minutes of rejection off of the 50%. So rather than looking to trade a deep pullback into 71, we could line up the 61.8 with a pretty fair stop loss like that. This is now a 3.6 pip stop. So we need to reanalyze our position size based on the new stop. See if that's playing ball. We can add that as our entry. This as our stop. With this, we kind of have the rejections needed from the 50. So we could set a limit on this. However, my trading range might be the thing that expires those limits. So we'll watch price up until about 1/2 past. New York open is at 1, but we don't have any red folder news really changing things. Let me check the mid folder news. No, nothing. No medium risk news either. Apart from some Chinese loan rates. They've already been. Got the WEF annual meetings. It's all day. But maybe that won't even come back down. Might just print a new higher high. In that case, we don't have a trade. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to have a trade. Got open trades still. Looks like GU's back into profit. Take a look at GU. Yeah, that's peaking. So if you remember back to the start, I said, here's our local corrective structure. These highs. We did have a breakout of that, but we really want to see this recent high get broken and closed above in order to consider this bullish just yet. At the moment, we're just consolidating within this range right now. We've got these lows and these highs that need to be broken to really give us a bias. If we do break this, to the upside, I will consider stacking more longs within this wave to the upside. So we'll wait and see on that. Okay, so this high has now been broken. That invalidates this setup. But we're still trading in the same direction, so we just basically need another wave to pull back to. Bias is correct, it's just not giving us an optimal entry. So we just need to wait for that. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Don't force it. When you force it, that's where you start to use stops that are too tight, and that's where you start to take losses, even though you were trading in the correct direction. So what we'll probably do is wait for this and this to print a wave, try catch it once again. If not, we might just oh, fuck up in there. If not, we might just not have a trade for the day, which is not the end of the world. Go buy a fucking scratch card if you really need to gamble today. Okay, so 12:05. Not had any action in London. I think this is probably just going to stall and do fuck all until New York Open. So I'm not looking to take a trade. So no trade today. Had a couple setups. The bias was right, but we just didn't have the optimal entry, so we didn't take it. I assume this London high from Friday, New York high as well, will probably get taken out within New York. So yeah, but my trading for London is done for the strategy. So Rio says, "What do you think to the GBP climate account in the morning?" No fucking idea, mate. Don't really care about climate account stuff. If it's gonna happen, then it's gonna push my trade in the right direction or a different direction that provides more setup. So I don't really see that as like something that I'm worried about that much. See what happens with it. Yeah, for day trading, news like that, it just adds fuel to the markets that will make you money. You need news causes volatility. You need volatility for movement. You need movement to make money. I'd only really give a fuck about news if it's gonna clash with my intraday setups. So there's my 2p. But yeah, hope everyone has a good one, and I'll see you on the live in the morning. Oh, last thing. Gonna get the Sniper Sundays out today with my market outlook. I kind of just did it on this live for you all to see, but obviously for people who didn't catch that, I'll post it today. So yeah, take care. See you next time.